Yes, you are right when you said that Ghana entered in agreement with Burkina. We said about 7 agreements so that we could build a very good relation between Ghana and Burkina. And we all admit that Burkina is the source, the greatest basket of tomato export to Ghana, and Ghana will rely on Burkina to import tomato, and that is where our domestic consumption is coming from. And unfortunately, just a few weeks ago, there was some terror attack which affected some Ghanaian traders, and we lost some of them. Some got injured, they have to come for treatment. So we are expecting that, and Ghana used the diplomatic channel to resolve that, and then we're able to get things strengthened so that Ghanaian traders can still go to Burkina, have the tomato, and bring it to our market. Yeah. So that has been settled. It's just unfortunate last Monday, Burkina government, through the Minister for Industry Trade, have come out with another directive that is not very pleasant. I think so. It's not good for Ghana. Because if Burkina now, after we have resolved our differences to be able to ensure security for our traders, suddenly you want to put a ban on tomato. So obviously that will not be good for Ghana and will not be good for our two countries. So I believe that Ghana will have to use the same diplomatic channels, get back through our Minister of Foreign Affairs, our Ghana ambassador to Burkina, and then Burkina ambassador to Ghana. We need to engage more of the same backdoor diplomatic engagement so that this ban that has been placed, possibly we could have another memorandum of understanding so that Ghana possibly could be exempted so that we can still have this tomato inflow. Because we know that in the very long term, Ghana must sit back, produce more, so that we will consume it. And I think Ghana, we are in a better position. We have very better soil. We equally can tap into the same irrigation that in Upper East were very strong in doing that. The Polugu Dam, the Via Dam. So we need to get back in the long term, put up very big dam, especially at the Burkina side, which vegetation is not so different from Burkina much. And we should be able to get this thing done. Having said that, I think I still want to put emphasis that we need that diplomatic Ghana Foreign Ministry and Ghana Ambassador to Burkina and the Burkina counterpart in Accra here. We need to have behind the scene engagement so that we can resolve this once and for all, so that Ghana could be exempted from the ban, so that we don't suffer so much shortage at the diplomatic level. Thank you.
I see. Now, your preamble, you did mention the attack that went on in Burkina Faso a couple of weeks ago. Could that want to inform the Burkina government to come out with such a decision?
I wouldn't say, yeah, it could be yes and no, because that particular thing actually hurt. You see, in foreign relations, if you have foreign national dying in your territory, it's not a very good one. Diplomatically, Burkina certainly was not happy that it happened. And Ghana was also not happy that we have lost our citizens in another country, because Ghana must do everything to protect its citizens within the country and outside. So Burkina also felt that maybe they may also think that we may not be able to guarantee the safety of Ghanaian traders anytime they enter Burkina for the tomato business. Possibly they may think that if we cannot guarantee, because these are non-state actors who are doing it. The terror groups, the extremist groups, they are non-state actors. They are just some group of people that are not, you cannot really identify. They are not combatant. They operate in various ways. So if Burkina cannot guarantee the safety of Ghanaian citizens, traders, then they may just say that, well, why don't we just put a ban so that we will not have a day where Ghanaian traders are attacked. So there's a connection, which may not be a direct one, but certainly there's a connection. Because if they think they cannot guarantee the Ghanaian traders, then the diplomatic thing they will do is, we will just stop you from coming there so that we feed our local industry. The local industry may not be the main reason, but it's just one of the diplomatic channels they are using to seal it up so that Ghana does not have any diplomatic role with Burkina, so that we can still maintain patch. You know, as Ghana rely on their tomato, Burkina equally rely on Ghana port. So there's the need for the two countries to resolve this thing diplomatically. So I think so there's a connection with what happened and the decision here, though it may not be stated explicitly. but I believe there's a connection in terms of security.
I see. We interviewed some of the tomato traders when the incident happened, and they said that that wasn't the first time that they are being attacked in Burkina Faso on their way. I mean, importing tomatoes and all that. Don't we think that the Burkina government thinks that we exaggerated this one too much? That's the reason why that can also inform them to come out with such an a statement or decision.
Yes. This statement, well, it may not necessarily be exaggerated, but possibly maybe Ghanaian we might have possibly become alarmed, thinking that Burkina is not doing much. And so Burkina might think that this might be a minor issue, but for Ghana, it's not a minor issue. So in that case, it depends on how we are looking at it. So they might have this incident group that have killed tens of people. Sometimes they go to community and massacre here and there. It is something that they don't like, but it's something that keeps recurring. So for them, it could be a norm. But for Ghana, because of the way we have enjoyed relative peace, and the protection of Ghanaian is very paramount to us, we haven't experienced that. So coming to lose about 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people, Ghanaian, it become a big issue for us, but it may not be a big issue. So if they also sit down and look at it, then if Ghanaians become so sensitive to some of this thing, then the best we can do is to just discourage them from doing further trade, so that we can maintain whatever we are doing and keep everything, so that we don't have a bad relation with Ghana. As I said it, Burkina need Ghana, Ghana need Burkina. We need our tomato consumption, Burkina need our ports. So that the need for us to strengthen bilateral relations is very, very important. And Burkina too, as I said it, if they cannot guarantee the safety of Ghanaian traders 24 hours, then the best diplomatically is to see that we find a way of discouraging the Ghanaian. But I think that even if they want to do it, I would have encouraged the Burkina government possibly to be able to bring the trade routes. We have other cities in Burkina that are closer to Ghana border. We can move closer to Paga, so that the distance that the Ghanaians will move to the Toronto market could get closer to Ghana border. That is also another thing that the Burkina government can do if they really want to promote Ghana's interest and to prevent future occurrence. If they cannot be sure of escorting them, but the trade could come closer to our border, so that our tomato can move to Ghana easily. And I think Burkina must actually continue to maintain a good relation. Ghana also need to make a good relation. We are very sister countries, and we need them, they also need us. So I think there's a need for them to do a very rigorous use on diplomatic channels, so that we can repair this. And this upright ban, I don't think it is the best. It may be in their best interest, but not in the best interest of Ghana, so that we can still benefit the tomato, while government of Ghana take pragmatic steps to boost local production of tomato, pay attention to irrigation, so that we can produce and consume here in Ghana and the north.
All right, thank you very much. Prof, still on, don't go yet. Be with me. I'll come back and ask you, Burkina Faso, Niger, and Chad, they are now out of ECOWAS. If that decision has also affected the sub-Sahara region or the member states, I'll come back and ask you that question. So be with me. On the line, I have Dr. Charles Nyaba, is a Peasant Farmers Association president. I'm saying thank you very much for joining us on the program, The Digest. Now, let's watch it from this way. I'm just told that there are delegations on their way to sit down with the Burkina Faso government to reverse that decision. Let put it this way: in case that they didn't listen to us, we put everything that we put on the table. They did not buy it. And we have to consume, we have 400,000 metric tons to consume. If you are to advise the president, what would be the interim measure from you to the president that we should do, so that the problem wouldn't affect us, the impact wouldn't be heavy as it ought to be?
Your question is directed to whom?
Yeah, Dr. Nyabase.
Okay. Thank you so much. Let me say good afternoon to Honorable and then the Professor from Sonyane. In the first place, I think it's even a wrong approach that the government is taking. And I do not think, I think in the same line with the professor. I say this because this is not the first time Ghana is facing problems with Burkinabés when it comes to bringing tomatoes to Ghana. And it is not also the case that we have no alternative to addressing tomato importation issues. So if Burkina are protecting their industry, we have only 2 months to continue to depend on them for this season. Why they need to be rushing to go there and do engagement instead of engaging your own local farmers who are ready and they have capacity to produce? My good brother is saying that maybe the decision from Burkina could also be that they cannot guarantee the security of our women who go there to bring the tomatoes. If they can't guarantee the security of our women, why do we go to negotiate with them to open it? Isn't that we are not interested in the welfare of our women? You see, this country, I think there is something fundamentally lacking in our policymakers. And unfortunately, our technical people who are supposed to advise them are also failing in that regard. You have a country in terms of comparative advantage. We have over Burkina Faso in every angle when it comes to tomatoes production. We have the conducive lands. We have farmers who are ready to produce. We have the water bodies that we need to actually work out to ensure that we revamp the existing irrigation infrastructure. We have the river bodies that water flow through the sea. Okay, I always said, I am in the sector. I'm a tomato farmer. I grew up on tomato farm as well, from Upper East. I go to Burkina Bay on daily basis when I'm in Upper East. So I understand what I'm talking about. If you look at the tomato terrain in Ghana, from the southern sector, from the Tiobodom, you take Tempo, Akumadan, then when you come to around Kosa area, at that area, I go to Ningo Pram, all these areas. During the rainy season, we get all our tomatoes from these areas. It is only during the dry season that we get the tomatoes from Burkina. That is from December to somewhere April. Then after that, Burkina is done. We have to depend on the Ghanaian farmers to produce. So if you love less than 2 months, and Burkinabés have taken these decisions, the best or the worst any government can do is to just start mobilizing your farmers. Since this thing has happened, all our platforms, those who produce tomatoes, they are already mobilizing themselves and putting themselves that, oh, there will be market opportunity for them to produce. The government has failed to rather engage our local people who can produce. And we keep saying that, oh, let's negotiate and empower our farmers to produce. We empower them when you don't engage them, when you don't communicate anything to them. So to me, I think we need to advise our policymakers properly, as well as our technical people, the researchers. They need to forget about this. No, we have to go and beg them to open for us to import when we can do the same. To me, it's an embarrassment. And I don't think that argument is the line to go. We need to buy the bullet, put money, invest in tomato sector, go into do the things that we're not doing, and very soon these problems will not really occur again.
I see. So tell us. Now we are told that the reason why we can't produce this 800,000 metric tons is because the number of the tomato farmers has been slashed down. People don't have interest in going into the tomato farm again. What was the problem that caused that?
You see, farmers, just like any other business person, respond to market. Some years ago, if you go to especially a place like Upper East, tomatoes was the main vegetable that most of the farmers produce. They have to leave that, and now when you go to the same area, they are now into pepper production, and then some of the irrigation lands are used for rice production. Simply because they produced tomatoes in some years ago They were promised of market. Many people went into invest hugely. When it came to marketing, I mean, they couldn't sell. Some farmers even have to commit suicide. Others have to abandon their farms. And since then, most of these tomato growers shifted into rice, maize, and other crops. Let me just give you a typical scenario for people to understand that things that we always think we can do, farmers can do it. In 2018, Guinness Ghana engaged us that they needed sorghum to continue to grow because they've been importing barley from Brazil and Argentina to produce.
Do the Guinness,
To do the Guinness, they contacted us. We went out and mobilized the farmers. When we mobilized the first year, we couldn't get enough. The following year, we were able to do 30%. Last 2 years to date, Guinness Ghana are depending on the local farmers to get the sorghum to grow 100%.
I see.
And as we speak, all our warehouses are full with sorghum.
With the same quality as Brazil's. It's the same quality.
Even higher.
Higher than the Brazil's.
There's a delegation that came from Zambia, Kenya, and Nigeria to come and learn from us how we are doing the sorghum. Okay? So I do agree that for now, we have few numbers of farmers who are into tomato production, but once this market opportunity is created, if government is coming to work with us, then I always say, look, gone are the days. We are not looking for government to come and give us fertilizer for free or to give us seed for free. The model that we use to ensure that we are currently self-sustainable in sorghum for Guinness Ghana, the same model should be applied. Guinness is not giving us anything for free. It's an engagement that we had. We agree on the input requirement. They link us with the financial institution. We go there to get the finances. We produce, they come and buy.
I see.
Okay, so what we are saying that the areas that infrastructure is lacking, like a place that we have the dams being desilted, areas that we have the canals being choked, the seas that we have difficulties in getting. If government can facilitate for us to get those seeds, and then also support with fertilizer on subsidy basis, and create the market infrastructure so that if you are producing, we are guaranteed that after production there will be market for us to sell. I'm telling you, this issue will become a thing of the past. But if you continue to say, oh, let's go and talk to Burkina, let them open for us so that we can continue now talking about local production. What are we talking about local production? Since this issue came, government have not done anything to show that they are interested in local production. Have they engaged the local farmers? You have convoys going to Burkina. Do you have the same convoys coming to the farmers to talk to us? So we are massaging the problem. And if we continue massaging the problem, we will never get a solution. So to me, we need to bite the bullet. There will be a gap that is created. Private investors will come in to fill in that gap. There are a lot of people who want to invest. They want to put the factories to process the tomatoes, but they are not too sure about getting enough raw material. So if you come in, assure the farmers, create a rural infrastructure, I'm sure we will next year this time around will not be sitting here discussing the same topic.
I see. Now, what the question that I asked you about how we the number of tomato farmers was slashed down. I read it from somewhere that they were saying that it is because the traders, the tomato marketers, the market women, they don't give a proper or a good price to the tomatoes. For example, somebody will carry tomatoes, maybe 40-feet container, about 3 from Akomadan to Accra. You'll be asked to bring them. The moment the person brings it, they will give him a tetanus price, a price that wouldn't be able to, do the same farm again. So that practice has discouraged a lot of tomato farmers. Now, people are saying that we should have a tomato board, just like we have the gold board and we have the cocoa board, so that the government can support the tomato farmers. We have tomato farmers, then also buy it from them straight, so that the government also spread it on our market. How do you buy that idea?
Yeah, I think it's a good point. There are these issues that I don't always want to put it on public discussion. You see, there are many at times when we were encouraging the farmers to do the tomatoes, the women always give day. let's say, for instance, they say, okay, Saturdays, we'll be coming to this community to buy the tomatoes. So you can all pluck your tomatoes. Sometimes they distribute the crates. So we pluck the tomatoes, line them up. When they come in the morning, they'll be sitting down. They will not go. Then around afternoon, they will just come. If a price is, let's say, 500 Ghana cedis per crate, they just come in the afternoon to tell the farmers that the market is no good. They call Accra and Takoradi, the market is no good. So today they are offering 200 Ghana cedis. So if you take, you take. If you don't take, they go back to sell. So the farmers have no option than to give it, whether they are breaking even or not. If you don't do it,
it will be rotten,
If you don't do it, you cannot store the tomatoes. Tomato is a perishable commodity. Now, the case of the example we gave about Akumada and Adan situation, sometimes when you even bring it to Accra, the market kings will not allow you to sell.
Look at that.
They won't allow you to put your tomato in the market. There are many instances where farmers took that risk and it never worked. And let me tell you, for a fact, as a farmer and at the same time, I follow this trade rule. The women who go to Burkina to bring the tomatoes, the things that goes behind the scene is beyond tomatoes trading.
I see.
So they themselves don't even want the Ghanaian farmers to take control for them to be buying in Ghana. They do other trades apart from the tomatoes. And that's the crux of the matter.
I see.
Are you getting it?
Yeah.
So I do agree that if government is actually serious in ensuring that we are food self-sufficient in most of the commodities, not only tomatoes, onions is another one. You saw what happened in Niger with our annual traders some time ago. All these commodities are things that our lands are good in production. We have farmers who have expertise in their production. But because government have not paid attention, and the attention is always rice and maize, it made many farmers who are into this area to drift into those other commodities or even stop the farming completely. But if a board is set in place and we ensure that non-partisan board, which include the farmers, include the traders and all other stakeholders are involved, to ensure fair pricing of both inputs and the product, I'm sure this will actually go a long way to help the economy to grow. But that is what we are currently lacking.
All right, so sir, thank you very much. Don't go yet. Be with me. You take your last bite before we sign out. Now, I have a former Deputy Minister of Agric, Food and Agric, in the person of Honorable Yafrimpong Ado, aka Ogunde, is with us. He's also a member of Agric and Food Committee in Parliament. Honorable, thank you very much, sir. Why joining you? Hello, Honorable.
Hello. Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah, that's it. Why joining here? Now, Kachra, you, your government took over in 2017. One of the flagship programs of government, yes, or they solve a lot of problems of food security and all that. The planting for food and jobs. Now, the planting for food and jobs, we saw a lot of, crops DB and I say normal na staple foods and more focus on munya bumper harvest near there. Mama Musa man target a year na tomato. How come that we are where we are today?
Thank you so much. Let me say hello to my professor and then my good friend Dr. Agyeta. You see, whenever we are talking about policies in the agri sector, we should be thinking about continuity. You see, because without continuity, this problem that is confronting us we will be facing it every other year, or every year we'll be facing it. You see, when the PFJ was introduced, a lot of things happened. There were success stories, and naturally there will be not too good stories. And the vegetable subsector was one area that I would say the story wasn't too good.
Yeah.
So in 2023, if you remember, there was a major review of the PFJ1, and then led by Dr. Brian Champon, the then minister, and I was also in charge of a deputy in charge of crops. We assembled all the major stakeholders, consultations here and there. And we came out with a comprehensive document called the PFJ Phase 2. And the Phase 2, we are now, because of the tomato issue, we are dealing with the vegetable sector. So the tomatoes, I can tell you that if we had continued with that program, I wouldn't say maybe we should continue with this. My good friend Enrico Poku should have continued with the same name PFJ to know. But at least the substance of that program, a very comprehensive program, Ghana would have been in a better position now, even with this announcement of Burkina Faso government that they are going to stop further exportation of tomatoes into Ghana.
Yeah.
And just like Dr. Agyeta said, seriously speaking, I also share his view that we should not go begging them to reconsider their decision, because I'm sure they thought through it very well. Because it's not only that we don't import tomatoes alone from there, we import other things, but they also take a lot of foodstuffs from the northern part of this country. Even it gets to a point that plantain from Agogo, several truckloads of plantain go to Burkina Faso. So I'm surprised they overlooked all those things and they want to start a trade war. I don't think Ghana is interested in any trade war. So the program that we started in 2023, at the time we finished with the program, the year had almost ended. And then 2024, we started the programs, but on a smaller scale. So the target in 2024, in 2022, which is the base year that we used, our national demand, that is for the whole country, was 1.251 metric tons of tomatoes, the whole country. And then the best self-sufficiency for Ghana in that year was 27%, because we were producing only 345 metric tons out of the 1,251 metric tons. And when you do the calculation, it's just 27% of the demand.
What you consume, yeah.
Exactly. So we set the plan in motion. Unfortunately, things didn't go well in the elections and we lost. I was thinking that the next government, because of the comprehensive nature of this program, was going to follow whatever we put on paper. Because there was a plan, a phased-out plan, that in 2024, we're going to make 518 metric tons. And then 2025, we're going to make 665 metric tons. 2026, 915 metric tons. 2022, 1,261 metric tons. 2028, 1,544 metric tons. And by 2028, we were sure that we were going to get about 108%.
Honorable, save that. You continue. Now, tell us, you said that 2025, the target was to have 500,000 metric tons. Am I right?
For 2025, 666.
So 666 metric tons. Okay, so since...
thousand metric tons.
666,000 metric tons.
6,000 metric tons. Yes.
Okay, which our consumption is 800,000. The 800 means that
1,251. So
okay, that's fine.
We wouldn't be there yet.
Okay, that's fine. Now tell us, you as a member of Food and Agric committee member and former deputy minister Food and Agric, you'll be following the progress of this thing that you were talking about. How many tons were we able to chalk in 2025? Because the expectation was to be 600,000 metric tons. How many tons did we achieve?
In fact, I am yet to collect that data.
Okay, please. Sorry for that, Mr. Minister. Sorry for that. Stay tuned. You continue in just a 30 seconds. Let me ask Dr. Charles Anaba if he has any idea. So say if
there's something I was going to add to this one.
Okay.
Before Dr. Anaba came in.
Oh, okay. So go ahead.
Before Dr. Anaba came in. Okay. So you see, once there's this plan, then what needed to be done is to identify the production areas. Ghana, we see, we rely on smallholder farmers across the country. In fact, they've been feeding this country all these years. The smallholder farmers, the commercial farmers are just a few. Smallholders have been feeding us. So when you look at the tomato enclaves in the upper east, upper west, the part of northern region, the Bunu and a half areas, especially the Bunu areas, there are several communities where the land is so good for tomato production. Then you come down to the coastal belt, then you go from Ada areas, the Sogakope, part of the Volta region. We've identified all these areas. And we've identified the farmers. So this is where I was expecting that government was going to continue with that same process. Identify these farmers, give them all the necessary inputs, and just as Dr. Anaba said, it is just about 2-3 months and tomato is ready. Once this is done with the correct seeds, tomato needs water, but it doesn't need too much water. So even boreholes, the part of the program was to drill boreholes in the tomato growing areas so that the farmers can have the water to do 2-3 times tomato production in a year. So this shouldn't have been a problem at all.
Okay, Honorable, you know this country, we always talk about the directive principles of the state policy where government comes, then they abandon the project that the previous government was doing and all that. So if you think that this program was good, yes, fine, how you are saying it was good, why did it take you your second round to implement it instead of starting from your first term? If you had started from your first term, we would have reached that point.
You're right. You see, in the first term, the priority was on the cereals, just as Dr. Agyeta said. The priority was on the cereals. And so the second term, especially when Dr. Brachampo took over, and we realized that no, the gap was too much because we had the land, the good vegetation, and we have very serious farmers. So if we put the plan down, the program down, and we encourage the farmers, we give them all the necessary inputs, and then the marketing outlets. But that is, Dr. Nyaba hit it all. I'm sure you asked that question. If you don't get good prices for the farmer will be so discouraged. Next year, he will not go to the land again. And the conspiracy of the market women when dealing with perishable goods
is so strong.
It's something that every government must deal with. Otherwise, whatever you do will be derailed because people will sabotage the program. So you need to set up basic industries, basic value addition industries in the production areas, just to increase the shelf life of the tomatoes. So that when the market woman comes and he says, by afternoon time, just as Dr. Agyeta said, I'm coming to give you 200 for instead of the 500, the farmer can call your bluff and said, I'm going to give it to the factory to process it into semi-finished product. Then the farmer are guaranteed of good price. So this is the crux of the matter, and it's something that all of us must put our shoulders to the wheel to resolve this problem once and for all.
I see. All right. So, Honorable, Jasuma Mrs. I'm engaged here. No, I was enjoying. You take a last bite before you leave, please, because I enjoy your part. Thank you very much. So let me go back to Professor Daniel Dramani. Kipo Research Fellow, Center for International Affairs and the Diplomacy in Lagos. So say, remember that I asked you about Niger, Chad, Burkina Faso, and Guinea. Exit of ECOWAS to form alliance of Sahel state and all that. Now tell us, if they were with ECOWAS. I know that the ECOWAS protocol or the ECOWAS law wouldn't allow them to take this decision because the free trade and the free all that and all that. Now, tell us, how will this decision of exiting the ECOWAS affect the other member states?
Thank you very much. I will first have to comment, honorable member, for insightful comment. And I like one of the aspects he said, continuity. Yeah. You know, in a political system, we are battling with continuity, which I think that we will have to deal with that in our political culture so that we get a point that we will continue. Because government is whichever government can, will continue with the good practices. Yeah. And I also commend Dr. Miaba for making a very important, he gave a very important case where a private sector partnered with government in the area of production, and they were able, instead of relying on Brazil, gradually they shifted away from relying on Brazil, and we had the local production. That's a very classic, very good one. And I believe that these are things that our country can build on. Now, I take the question on Sahel. It is just unfortunate that 2-3 countries who were members of ECOWAS, very, very important country, Burkina, Mali, and Niger, sadly, because of the change of government, because they move away from the democratic government and then establish a military rule, and which is against ECOWAS principle, because in ECOWAS, we want all governments to be democratic government. So when you become non-democratic, then you are faced with problems. So these 3 countries realize that once we are military rulers and ECOWAS is trying to put sanctions, and even to a point that ECOWAS nearly or almost moved into Niger to take action against the military government. Yeah. So because of that threat, they realize that no, ECOWAS is no longer a suitable area. So let us form our own alliance. And that is how from 2020-23, the Alliance for Sahel State, AES, was formed. And they left ECOWAS. Now, actually, if they were still in ECOWAS, I don't think they would have been able to put up such a radical policy of banning movement of tomato to other ECOWAS countries. That wouldn't have worked because it would have been a breach on ECOWAS protocol of free movement of goods and persons. So people should be able to move, even the goods, we should be able to, our tariffs have been made in such a way that they are quite friendly. So they wouldn't have taken such a radical turn because of their breakaway that has empowered them. Now, having said it, at the same time, the same Burkina people are aware that they are no more part of Burkina, but they are still benefiting, they are no more part of ECOWAS, but they still benefit from ECOWAS protocols. Burkina still enter Ghana here without still following the protocol, free movement. They still benefit from it. They can still enter Ghana here and enjoy it. So even though they are no more part of ECOWAS, but they are still enjoying ECOWAS protocol. So on that note, they should not say that because they are no more part of ECOWAS, they will take radical decisions that will affect other neighboring countries. As I said it, I think one of the best things that Burkina need to know is that Ghana need Burkina, Burkina need Ghana. And that is the principle that possibly they are overlooking. And I don't think that it is the issue of begging them, but they need to know that if you radically stop Ghana from tomato, in the very interim, we will suffer it. But government of Ghana will take pragmatic steps so that in the long term, we will have enough tomato production, taking all the good points. So that is the point. But so I will want to say that this is not the best decision for Burkina. Ghana is in a vulnerable position in terms of the tomato. Burkina is also vulnerable. They need our ports because Burkina is a landlocked country. Ghana is a literal state. So they need our ports for their equipment. They need our port for their goods. So that should be able to tell them that Ghana may be vulnerable to this perishable good. Burkina is also vulnerable in terms of our ports. So that should tell them that we need to strengthen our bilateral relation, resolve issues that will mutually benefit us rather than taking a radical decision. And I think that Burkina and the ambassador they are listening to, they need to tread cautiously. As you punish Ghana in this way, Ghana equally have a power that they can do. And I think that we need to have resolved this thing bilaterally so that take decisions that will not affect both countries. And that should be the way.
But Prof, a minute, 1 minute on this, then I'll go to Dr. Anyaba. So if we will leverage on our ports in our discussion or negotiation to reverse that decision, wouldn't it be like we are blackmailing them?
No, we may not necessarily use our port, but we'll let them to realize that Ghana need Burkina in various ways. Burkina also need Ghana. Oh, so whatever decision we are taking, we need to have that in mind, that this is somebody's vulnerability and this is also your vulnerability. So you are measured in the decisions that we take. Diplomatically resolve them without affecting each other so much. That's the point you need to take note of.
Thank you very much. Professor Daniel Dramani Kipo is a research fellow at Center for International Affairs and Diplomacy in Lagos. Thank you very much for your time today. God bless you. Okay, so let me go to Dr. Anyaba. So, Doctor, what else can you tell us? Let me give you 4 minutes on this. So, what else can you tell us?
Yeah, what I can say is that as an investor and then as a private person, we have started mobilizing ourselves. We have platforms across the country. Most of the members are into cereals, others are into vegetables. Those who are doing tomatoes, I think since the day the president made that announcement, there are calls everywhere. And as we speak, they are doing their own mobilization. And I'm sure if government will have to actually focus on the domestic production by engaging these farmers and ensuring that there's a policy continuity, we may not get to where we came from. Now, let me once again come back to my good friend, Frimpong, Honorable Frimpong. You know, usually when they are, anybody who is in power, they always see us as an activity, they see us as problems. I always say that if you don't listen to us and then put us in the midst of your policies, one day you will be at the same side with us. Today we are sitting at the same side. You see, they were to ensure that maybe the farmers were a key part of the board and the decision making. Now that they are not in power, by now we will continue. I was actually a key member of the stakeholders that Brian Champion and then Honorable himself used to engage on some of these things. We have a couple of discussions. We started very well. We designed the policies, but when it came to the implementation, I think we didn't actually go according to what we all agreed to do. So along the line, some of us also have to relax. So I think that if we actually have to address this problem thoroughly, we need bipartisan board or committees that, irrespective of which government is in power, they allow those expertise to continue to guide policy implementation. But what is currently going on is not healthy for the agriculture sector, because we see one government doing very good policies. When a different government comes, they are reluctant to continue. And sometimes I do understand. If they continue, by now, NDP will say, oh, you don't even have policy, it's our policy you are implementing. So at the end of the day, it's the farmer that suffers. Even within the same MPP, we were doing the PFJ1 when the Akoto was changed, and then Brian came. We did PhD phase 2. So many things change, people change, coordinators change, and then we have to bring new set of people to coordinate. So that has been our problem. But if you consider continuity, I agree with the Honorable. The Brian Champion policy, that the comprehensive policy that we developed together was very good. I was consulted. I've organized stakeholder, organized people. We held meetings on that. It was good. I was only disappointed that later part of it, the implementation didn't go according to what we started in terms of developing the concept itself. So policy continuity is very, very important if you have to address some of the challenges that we face.
Docs, thank you very much for the day. God bless you. So let me go to Honorable Jan from Port Ado. Let me give you 3 minutes on this now, and for 4 minutes now. You for into a position. Diaba bibi na opesa oka na yedi twaso.
The issue we are discussing is tomatoes. I think let's conclude it on the tomato issue. You see, Dr. Anyaba, I agree with you. The implementation of the PFJ2, and it was all technology, not any other thing. The substance was the same, but technology failed us along the way, and we didn't even have enough time to correct this problem. But I was thinking that the new government was going to take the document, just as I said, maybe creating it with a different name, but still looking at the comprehensive nature of it, deal with the key stakeholders, and then the farmers. You know that Dr. Jabba said that non-partisan. The farmers, when it comes to agriculture, they are not. You give them the guidelines, give them the inputs, and they will produce the thing for the country. For me, that is the most important thing. So this issue that has come, maybe because we've been caught unprepared, we should go by the diplomatic channel, you see, and then you remember Colonel Bevrolati, he was the special appointed for the Sahel countries.
Yeah, ambassador.
So, yes, we can use Colonel, and then president to president. I'm sure this is not beyond His Excellency
John Dramani
President
Mahama.
Exactly, it is not beyond him at all, because he has been there before, and for the second time that he's back, he has a lot of leverage around the African continent. Therefore, calling
I see.
Calling me. Hello.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah.
Yes. Calling the Traore, Ibrahim Traore shouldn't be a problem at all, and this one must be resolved in 1 week. Because look, apart from the port that doctor spoke about, what Upper was to produce a lot of maize and other cereals. Upper is the same. A lot of the produce go to Burkina Faso.
Okay. All right.
So you have to go and back them. I mean, then we intensify the production line. We reactivate all our production lines in the production areas of this country for tomatoes. In 3 months' time, we should have a solution to this problem.
We shouldn't go and beg them at all.
No, what I'm saying is that don't ask for begging. It's out. Diplomatically, we should talk to them and then let them see the need for this bilateral relationship that exists between the two countries, and the fact that they depend even more on us than we depending on them. Ours is the monocrop. That is tomato.
All right.
Apart from
all right.
We don't go to Burkina for anything.
All right. Thank you very much.
We should not go and beg them.
Thank you very much. All right, so thank you very much. Honorable Yao from Paul Ado Ogunde is a former deputy agric minister and a member of Food and Agric Committee in Parliament. Okay, before him, you heard Professor Daniel Dramani Kipo is a research fellow, Center for International Affairs and Diplomacy, Legon. Dr. Charles Anyaba is executive director at the Peasant Farmers Association. And before Betomuni Nanka, we heard Ura Musa Dankwa.